Alright, so Pavlov is a pretty physical game. This is a right hand controller. It's got the X and circle buttons on it. Left hand controller with the triangle and square. You're not going to be using the triangle and square. Well, you're really not going to use the square at all. The triangle will basically just, if you hold it down, push it, hold it down, it'll give you kind of the stats in the game if you're playing online or whatever. Other than that, there's really no other reason to use any of those buttons. However, there is a button here on the side right in the handle. That button right there is this is the right hand controller, by the way. That's your R1 button. I have a tendency to call it the wraparound button because when you're holding it, usually your middle finger is going to be the one that depresses it if you're going to use that button at all. The other four fingers, or three fingers and the thumb, don't do much else. This pulls the trigger, the thumb controls the stick, the other two just kind of hold the controller in your hand. This button can get you into trouble. This button is kind of a toggle button. If you depress it and use it for whatever action needs to be used for, it'll grab something, and then if you push it again, it'll release it. Generally, not every time. Now, the circle button, which is that button at the top there where my thumb's at, that one will release magazines, return a bolt home, or, well, that's about the only two things it does. And the X button right there at the bottom generally will change the rate of fire of your weapon. So if it's got like single shot, 3-round burst, automatic, whatever, you just keep hitting it, it cycles through all of that. There are some things you have to know about the game. There is no button for crouching. So you do have to physically crouch or go in your own prone position physically to play the game. If you're going to use those positions at all, there's no button for that. If you get that deep into it, which will help you out, by the way, it's going to wear you out if you're not used to a lot of physical activity. But that's part of the charm of the game. So, as far as weapons, let's check this out. Okay, now we're at the shooting range. A couple of quick things here. You can pretty much grab whatever you want. You got some targets floating around, and there is a kill house up here that you can run around through and pretty much follow. Yeah, see? Alright, so anyhow, the wraparound button, or the R1 or L1 buttons. In this particular case, I have a weapon in my right hand. I'm going to hit it just one time real quick. Drops the gun. If I kneel down, I'm physically doing this in real life, and hit it again, it picks it up. My left hand, same deal with the L1 button, grabs the front. I have virtual stock on, by the way. You have to look that up. It's a good thing to have. Basically, I'm moving my hand up and down, but you notice how the weapon stays level, roughly. Alright, if I turn that off, it would twist like this. You can still do that, but it takes a massive amount of movement to make that happen. Alright. Empty that out. Release. Toss it away. Reach down my side. Just pull the trigger. You have to hold it down. And you let it go. This one, I can't push the circle button to rack it because this particular weapon, I actually have to pull the charging handle. Now I don't have my hand up there right now, so it's going to go out of control. Bring that. There is a trick. If you get it just right, you could knock it out like that. But anyhow, not a big fan of this weapon anyhow. Alright. Alright, here's a saw. It's a machine gun. Alright. Just gonna run the... Alright, I'm out of ammo. I'm gonna release with my left hand. I'm gonna pull the trigger to lift that. I'm gonna grab that, throw it away, or drop it, whatever. Stick a new one in. Make sure it goes in there all the way. Then you have to pull the trigger again to grab the ammo to feed it. Then you have to pull the trigger again to slap that down. Then you have to rack it. Once again. Pull this away. Drop it. Grab a new one. Pull the ammo over. If this was closed, open it and then shut it again. Rack it. Grab the front. I mean, you don't have to grab the front, but you're not going to have any control if you don't. So that's that. Get rid of that. Some of these weapons, try to see if I can find one here. Actually, we'll just go to the pistols because it makes it easier. We'll go to the Glock. Alright. The Glock right now has like fully automatic. So if I pull the trigger, it'll just keep firing until it's empty. Or no, it has a 3-round burst. My bad. Alright. I push the circle button. I cannot grab this like I did with the M16 or the the M4. I can't grab nothing, so I have to use the circle button to drop it. Grab a new one. Put it in there. Now, I'm just pulling the slide back just a little bit. There's nothing in the chamber. You can see the bullet there, but it's not in there. I have to pull it all the way back and release it. Alright. Drop it. Now, if I went fully empty, notice how it slides back. I'm not holding that back. My hand's over here. I'm not holding that back. I could yank it, or I can just hit the circle button, and it'll... Drop the magazine, throw a new one in. I could rack it, like I just did. Let's go to single shot, which I'll just hit the X button one time. Now, I'm single-handing this, by the way. Even though it's a little pistol, you can still grab it and have two hands on it. You get a lot more control out of what you're shooting at. As you notice there's a lot of bullets in that guy's head, and these ones are spread out a bit. Alright, so that's pretty much how you handle the pistols, with the exception of I'll release the left hand, release the right hand. By the way, you can grab a weapon. Grab the M16 or A4 or whatever. I can release it with the right hand and hold it with my left hand. I can't fire or do anything with it. I have to come back and grab. A lot of times if you have a bolt rifle where you want to rack it, you can rack it with your right hand and then go back and grab. This particular weapon is nothing that you would want to do, but let's see, we got, there's sniper rifle. Okay. Alright, let's see, we'll shoot someone in the head here. Alright. I don't know why I did that. only shoots once. So you release with this hand or you release with this hand, doesn't really matter. I usually release with the left hand, pull the bolt back, grab a new round, put it in there, push the bolt forward. You can do it with the right hand, it's just a pain in the ass. And grab it again. Just like reloading a magazine. Remember, when you grab it, you have to hold the trigger down. If you let it go, you just drop the round. Same thing when you're changing magazines. When you grab it from your side, whether it be a magazine or a bullet, you have to hold the trigger down. Otherwise, you're just grabbing stuff and throwing away. So hold it down. And boom. Anyhow. Here's the cool stuff. The grenade. Pull the trigger to grab it. You hold the trigger down to hold it in your hand. And while you're holding it in your hand, you pull that wraparound button. Or R1 if you're right-handed. If you're using your left hand, pull the trigger and hit L1 while you're holding the trigger down. I think you can hold up to 3. Okay, maybe more, but I don't know. Now, when you want to throw a grenade, you have to pull and hold the grab button or the wraparound button. If you let it go, nothing happens. All right, once you grab the grenade, you're good. All right, so let's reach down, grab one. All right, I got it in my hand. Pull the pin with my trigger. All right, nothing's going to happen here. What I usually do is I pull and hold the trigger. I'm not doing anything else. And reach back, and as I throw, I release the trigger, and it should throw your grenade. All right, so we'll grab another one. Pull the pin. This one I'll just toss in the door. This one I'll throw up there. I think. Oh, no, missed it. There we go. Now, you might ask, well, what if I have a weapon? How am I going to do that? All right. And you run out of rounds or whatever it is. Release with your forward hand. Don't throw it. Just put it behind you. Move your hand back and pull that wraparound button, and it will sling your weapon. It's still there. If you reach your hand back up, it's empty right now. If I reach my hand back up and hit the wraparound button, it's back. If you go too quick, it'll throw it. See? So you got to be a little bit careful with it, but it's pretty forgiving. So if you have all right. So I'm in the heat of battle. Release. Grab. Take some practice to do that. Whatever. All right. That takes care of that. Kind of went over this with the saw, but All right, we're empty. Toss that away. You don't really have to toss it, by the way. You just have to... Anyhow, basically the same principle. I'm trying to think if there's... Oh, shotguns. All right. You can do that and slap it shut. Same deal. I just slapped it up. But, let's say... So that's how you do the shotgun. You have to slap it up. Anyhow. The revolver, interesting one. Alright. Hit that circle button. Turn it back. Now you could just slap it shut or tip it back and just have 2 rounds in there, but I usually load it up. Doesn't hurt to have 2 hands on it. So you can play Russian roulette if you want. It doesn't always come back to the same spot. That's kind of a cool thing about it. So anyhow, that's the revolver. Desert Eagle. Very powerful weapon. All right. Either pull it or push the circle button. Now I'm pushing my release button. Why is it not falling? Because my left hand is still attached to it. Now it'll fall. One quick thing. Let's say I grab this gun. I don't like that sight, so I come over here and grab this one. I'm using my trigger, and I'm holding it down, by the way. I'm not... Actually, you don't have to hold it down. I forgot. Grab it with the little grab button. And then pull the trigger and hold it down, and it'll replace it. And you can also move it back a bit if you want. By the way, this is my personal favorite way to shoot this, with the exception, well, doesn't matter. So you see, I'm just throwing, grabbing in, and I never let the thing get empty if I don't have to. So I don't ever have to worry about racking it, because you can see that bolts forward. Grab. if I ever did, all right, now I'm completely empty. Go in there, pull trigger, nothing happens. Rack it or push the circle button for the bolt to go home. If I accidentally pushed again, like I said earlier, it drops your magazine. One shot, you're screwed. If you're in the heat of the battle, you'll be screwed. Oh, sorry. There we go. All right. I think that pretty much covers everything. I mean, you got other grenades here. You got the smoke grenades, so same deal. Throw it over there. It'll make a nice big puff of smoke. Stun grenade, whatever. All right. Should be good. Okay, here we are in the gun range. And you can see I have a P90 here. Now, keep in mind, I'm using the trigger button to pull it out and then set it back. Okay, I'll use the wraparound button to grab the front. This is all on my left hand. Hit it again, it releases. Hit it again, it grabs. Now, some weapons, if you hit the... actually, I have to check, because I always forget which one it is. Yes, it's the circle button. It's on your right hand. It's one just above the X button. That would drop your magazine. This particular weapon, it doesn't work like that, so you have to actually physically grab it with the trigger button on your left hand and just toss it out if it's empty. Reach down your left hand side, pull the trigger button again, it grabs a new one, throw it in there. Now, if it was empty, you'll have to rack it back and grab the weapon again. Because I'm so close to these targets, I have to aim a little bit high to get them in the head. And that's all fine and dandy. So, grab a new one, slap it in, rack it. All right, pull it out, throw it away. New one, rack it. All right. Let's get rid of that weapon. And we will grab... All right, and M4. All right, see how the magazine right here is exterior. I can grab that magazine by pulling the trigger with my left hand. Let it go, it drops to the ground. All right, I can put a new one in just by grabbing it from my side. And I can also hit the circle button. It will release it. Put a new one in. It doesn't always release. Let me go ahead and go through this right here. All right, I'm empty. The bolt is to the rear. I pull out this. I put in a new one. Pull the trigger, nothing's going to happen. Two things I could do. I can pull the charging handle back, which I'm not going to do, or I can hit the circle button, which will rack the bolt toward forward. Now it's ready to fire. That all sounds fantastic. However, let's say I'm not out of ammo and I just dropped the magazine for whatever reason, put in a new one, and I hit that same button to rack it forward. If it's already forward, it drops your magazine. That's why my personal, there's one in the chamber by the way, my personal easiest way to do is just while you're holding the front, hit the release button, grab, throw, grab, in, and no matter what's going on, I always look. Now, if I only shot a few rounds, let's say a bad guy shows up and I know I didn't empty my magazine, I'll throw that out, throw a new one in, I can keep going. Let's say I get to the end, grab one out, throw a new one in. Two things can happen. I can rack it, right? Once again, I'm empty, or I can push that circle button to go forward. But make sure you know that you used up every round in that magazine, because if not, if you hit that button again while you're still around in the chamber, it drops it. You have one shot. That's it. You're empty. You have to reload again.